So I'm thinking today about a thing that I've said in the past, which is that midlife crisis is right up there with friend zone as the most unhelpful metaphor that men try to use to understand their lives. And of course there is no friend zone, it's a metaphor. There's no friend zone, there's just people who are attracted to you and people who aren't. But when I look at my life, I've observed phenomena around attraction, and I've observed, in retrospect, I can observe myself doing things that make attraction go away and are kind of permanent, which is a tough one. Elevation change isn't doing me any good here. I need distance, I can't get tired out. Yeah, so it was John Green, author and video blogger, who I watched a thing that I think he did not too long ago, although it's hard to tell, talking about how, as men we get taught not to have needs and certainly not to tell people that we have needs, and yet we feel safer sharing emotions with people we want to be romantic with. And I certainly notice that pattern in myself, and I can remember times when I've kind of burst this pustule of need onto a person with whom I may have been a romantic candidate, but then I instantly switch to idiot younger brother like that. And that change, you can watch it happen. It's certainly not obvious how to reverse it. And I think a lot of men get really frustrated there, think they have the right to reverse it. When maybe it's a whole lot more profitable, which is a terrible metaphor, sorry, to simply figure out how not to get those pustules in the first place. My hands shake a lot. High blood pressure. Or weak fucking hands. I don't know. Top of the hill, 2.3 miles. Now what? How about down? Let's do down. So if you're a man, how do you do something healthy with your need? You don't want to show it to the ladies over much. So how do you avoid forming those pustules? I have lately had recommended to me, and this is what I was having all the dark thoughts to myself about the other day. I've had recommended to me one of the vestiges of the men's movement, a sort of workshop where you go into the woods for a weekend with other men. I don't think there are bongos involved in this one. There is a ritual that involves nudity that is optional, and all that is fine. But it was recommended to me as a kind of initiation, trial by fire-esque thing. And I have all kinds of problems with that are not to my point right now. My point right now is these movements, I think rightly, have a lot to say about the willingness of men to show vulnerability to other men. Because, and this is my take on it, because women should not have to bear all of the weight of the problems and vulnerabilities of both genders. Yeah, the because part is, that one's all me. I don't think the men's movement is particularly interested in women one way or the other. What they should have to do in particular. There's absolutely no way I'm going to be able to retrace my steps here. Do my best. Look trees. And that's rain. All right. And you know, the truth is, I feel like I do okay at sharing the load of that vulnerability across the genders. But when I start dating, I have that instinct to just start sharing all of my doubts and fears and vulnerabilities. You know, this is not first date material. It's just not. And part of me is a little bit militant about it. You know, it's like, you can see the pattern there. It's like, hey, fuck you. You know, if real men have vulnerabilities. If you can't take that, the door's that way. But that part is not really the operative part when I'm sitting across the table from somebody at dinner on a date. And you know, maybe this is not stuff to share in public. And you know, and it goes without saying, of course, that none of this is about anything essential to men or women. This is all fucking society. Keeps showing up to all of our parties. Why won't anybody tell that guy to go fuck himself? Yeah, the Mansy Man's camp thing is really upsetting in a lot of ways. Because, you know, it is for people who feel powerless and disconnected from something essential in their lives. And yeah, if you do a bunch of vaguely culty shit, you can probably address those symptoms. And there's a little part of me that is just scared of being asked to, you know, climb a mountain in front of a bunch of dudes. You know, all the ways in which it's a bad idea are fighting with this little voice going, "What are you, a pussy?" It's gross. It's just icky and gross. Fucking runners. Always coming close to me by virtue of having a faster pace. Damn you. I am getting less shy about talking to the phone in my outstretched hand, though. It's got just enough of a core of hamminess to make me not feel like I'm just exhibiting myself as a crazy person in public. But yeah, I don't want to go to a men's initiation weekend. I might want to go to a human's initiation weekend. Maybe I just want to go to a fat camp. Yeah, I don't trust initiations. You know, revolutionary change yourself in 48 hours kind of bullshit. I think catharsis just kind of leads to catharsis addiction. I want to know how to take better care of myself. I don't think the answer to not building up those pustules of need is to go off to a resort and spend $750 and burst them all in spectacular fashion that somehow feels good. I want them to not form, and that means better practices for living life every day. God damn, I'm good with those. I have these, listen to him end these videos with wisdom words. This is Portland's reservoir. Ducks play tennis in it. You only ever see this kind of architecture on school buildings. How do we make this look less like a prison? I know, squares. With colors on them. Pastels.